YouTube, it's your girl, Sincerely Dani here.
Stand up like a soldier, baby. Yeah, I know you been like that. Gun it like a holster, baby. Show them say you're wicked like that. We live where the war is raging, chasing our crazy dreams.
Anyway, welcome to my channel. This is my first official video, and the topic of the day today is all good things come to those who wait. Why should sex be any different? Okay, so let's give you guys a little background. I'm 19 years old, and I lost my virginity when I was 11, basically. And after I lost my virginity, obviously at 11 years old, you know, my whole family found out about it. So it was kind of like, my life is over. You know, I couldn't go out. I didn't have any friends. I mean, it didn't stop me from being rebellious, but trust me, it put a little strain on your girl. But I mean, obviously, who wants their 11-year-old child popping punani for this nigga, that nigga, and the third? Okay. So anyway, I understand why my parents did that. To me, that was probably the best thing they could have done. Although it did not stop me from, you know, doing the dirty. When I was about 15 years old, I met somebody who was actually a relative to one of my best friends. And he was the first person that I started having sex with, like, regularly. It took a little while, I think, for us to have sex. And then finally, I think I told him it was gonna be 3 months, but those 3 months were literally on and off. So he kind of tried to slick play it at the time, like, oh, it's been 3 months, but it really wasn't 3 consecutive months. It was like through like a month here, or like a week here and another week there. Like, it wasn't very consistent. But obviously, silly old me decided that I didn't care. I liked him, so I just did it, you know? And I think for me, that was when it began. Like, we were having sex so regularly, and then that's when, like, my first time, I didn't really like sex. Then the second time, well, not the second time, but, you know, with this guy, it was like regular sex. So obviously I was starting to like enjoy it more, because it wasn't hurting as much as it was when you know, when we did it previously. So it was really, I don't know, it was really bittersweet. It was probably the beginning of my whirlwind of shenanigans. Basically, after I had sex with him, every guy who I was talking to, or not after I had sex with him, after me and him stopped having sex, because literally that lasted like a year and some months, I think, of like on and off, like, and he was the only person I was having sex with during that time period too. So I think that kind of made the craving for sex even higher than it typically would have been, because, you know, I would get a slice here and then a little taste there, and sometimes I was just like, oh my gosh, I really need to call him, because, like, you know, I had a stressful day. No, I didn't. At 15 years old, what kind of stressful day was I having? Okay, none. Anyway, so yeah, like I said, that was probably when it all began. Then every guy that I was talking to, it kind of became like we would have sex. Like, every guy that I was talking to, at least in my opinion, it was serious, but to them it wasn't serious, because they don't give a damn about my life. They just was in it to F it up. Mind you, these guys, ooh, sorry y'all, let me see something. Okay, yeah, it's not no dude hitting me up. It's just my email. I like to actually read my emails, but that wasn't nothing important. It was junk mail. Anyway, back to the story. Yeah, so that's when it all kind of like went downhill. Anyway, fast forward to last year, Valentine's Day. I had just kind of gotten out of something really emotionally serious for me. The guy didn't want a relationship with me, but honestly, I think that's probably the closest thing that I ever got to really being with someone. Because I've never been in love, I don't think, but that was probably the closest I ever got, because we spent so much time together. Like, he was always at my house and he knew my mom and my family, and I don't know, for me that was kind of like something that I always wanted. He was literally like my best friend. Like, if we were talking, like if we didn't get into a little tiff not too long ago, we probably would still be pretty close friends. But I don't know, that's what kind of made me realize that, you know, relationships are probably not all horrible, you know? Anyway, it's an email again. Anyway, so after him, I don't know, I just was like, I need to like find like a boyfriend, like it's time, like I'm 18 now, and like, or was I 17? Whatever. I was like, I'm getting to a point where like I actually need a boyfriend. Like, I've never had a real boyfriend, so I should probably like get one. Anyway, I ended up rekindling something with one of my childhood crushes, and which was really weird because like our families are close. Like, I'm talking like my mom and his mom are like this, and like me and his sister were like this, and literally him and my brother were like this. So it was just kind of like a weird situation to be in. Like, when your families are involved, it's kind of like they know everything. So that for me was a problem. And then the fact that he was far away, because it was a long distance relationship, I honestly felt like my first boyfriend shouldn't be long distance. I felt like I needed to, you know, be a normal teenager, like go out on dates and like, you know, do fun things like how other relationships are. I mean, I'm 18 years old, so I mean, I ended it. So after I ended it, I let me pause. Before this guy, my boyfriend, let's call him Carl. Before Carl, there was another guy, Zach. Let's call him Zach. Me and Zach literally had the worst, most toxic, most ridiculous relationship known to man. I literally met him when I was in the 10th grade. All throughout 10th grade, I'm talking about the first time I met him, he asked me out on a date, and nothing ever happened until I graduated early. So I was supposed to graduate 2016. I ended up graduating 2015, but he was in my class, so that means he was graduating 2016. Anyway, fast forward, I was graduating, and I don't know, I guess we just kind of like decided to like give it a go. He hit me up on Kik, because Kik was in back then. I feel old. In back then, whatever. Anyway, yeah, so he hit me up on Kik, and we started like going out on dates, and it wasn't like consistent. It was like, you know, we would talk here and there or whatever. And then finally, when I was in college and he was in his senior year, we started to actually like talk. If you're not familiar with talk, it's this generation's BS version of dating, because it's not really dating. It's just the hunching stage with the early good morning text, but a lot of hunching. Anyway, what happened? Okay, so he literally I felt like this was probably like my first like, oh my gosh, what the heck am I doing? Like, he had to be my breaking point, because after him, I decided that I was gonna date Carl. So Zach was literally like effing my life up, okay? From the first time that we started hanging out and stuff, and to the couple weeks or maybe a month or so after we started actually talking to that's when we first kissed, like maybe a month or so, maybe a little bit more after we started talking. We had our first kiss, and from our first kiss, it literally went Okay, then it was like, okay, when are we gonna have sex? At the time, I was celibate, and I thought that he understood that, because that's the first thing that I tell a guy who's trying to talk to me. If you're trying to talk to me, honey, I'm celibate. But your girl was not strong back then. She fell into temptation, okay? She fell into it. It didn't help that he was fine, okay? Like, let's just be real. Now, I'm not trying to make this a joke, but he was really fine. And we really clicked. So I thought that, you know, I mean, yeah, I'm not on like the having sex stage, but at the same time, like, I can't expect him to not want to have sex when he's only 18 and I'm only 18. So, you know, I mean, we're both raging hormonal teenagers. Okay. Anyway, so finally, before I broke the cycle, I had this really bad breakdown. We got into a couple of fights because of me not wanting to have sex anymore, or actually this was when it came to me wanting a relationship with him, because I didn't want to just be having sex and he wasn't my boyfriend, you know. So I mean, I made it clear that I wanted a relationship and he wasn't interested. Yet when we first started talking, he was very clear on us having a relationship, but then it just so happened to change when he got the cookie. Anyway, I don't know, to me it's just kind of like, after that night I left his house because me and him got into a fight. And so when I went over there, I told him, like, you don't have to like kiss me or anything like that. Like, we can just do this. Like, I don't understand why we're going through all this like little games just for you to get what you want and for me to get what I want so I could go. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was just like really hard on me like that night because I didn't kiss him or anything. I literally felt like, oh. I went over there and I just started bawling out, crying, like on my way out. I had left already. I left his house and I started driving. So I left his house that night after my little escapade of telling him we don't need to kiss and all this. And then I just started bawling. Like, I was driving and I couldn't even see. I was crying so hard. And I was trying to get out of his neighborhood, but there were so many freaking twists and turns and roundabouts that I don't know why I was even driving, because I really should not have been. I was crying really bad. I just kind of felt really low. So I went to my friend's house and, you know, she kind of like, you know, made it clear to me like what I was doing to myself. And, you know, she was a really good friend. Like, she held me while I cried and, you know, she made me feel a lot better. I don't think I ever cried so much especially in front of a person. Like, that was just terrible. But anyway, this had to be my breaking point, except it didn't stop me from having sex, you guys. It really didn't. It made it clear that there was something wrong, but it didn't completely stop me. So fast forward a couple months later, I've had a boyfriend. Me and him have broken up, and I hit Carl up again. Wait, no, not Carl. Carl is the one who's distant. So I broken up with Carl. Now I hit up Zach. I think it had been like a month or so later. Maybe 2 months later, I hit up Zach. No, it had to be a month. It was a month. I hit up Zach and I was like, no, yes I did. Or did he hit me up? Whatever. I don't know who hit who up. But anyway, I ended up going to his neighborhood. And long story short, we did the thing. And it was just, I felt so like, this was not worth it, you know? Like, he wasn't worth it. I felt like I was constantly compromising myself and constantly trying to make him, you know, like trying to make it so that way he was comfortable. But, you know, not like when we were having sex, but I'm talking like in the whole process of our not relationship, I was always trying to make sure that he was okay. And like, I wasn't really taking care of myself. So then and there, I kind of knew that something had to give. So I started hanging out with this guy, and he was like fine. Like when I tell you he was fine, like your girl was pulling, snatching, okay. He was like really fine. He was very nice. Me and him would just hang out, watch TV, watch movies. Honestly, it never got sexual until probably maybe we were hanging out for a little minute, and it never got sexual. Like I'm talking, it had to be like 7-ish months, probably less, maybe like 4 months, maybe 4 months, and it never got sexual. And so this was overlapping. Me and him were not having sex, but I didn't want to have sex with him because I thought that he would have, like, he was having sex with every girl and their mom. So, you know, especially because he was so fine. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're freaking 21. Like, what you doing if you ain't having sex with me? Like, you having sex with somebody. So I didn't want it to be me. So I called Zach the day of Valentine's Day, and that's when I let Zach completely go, and I kind of like cut off all the guys that I was talking to, and I kind of like just put myself in that situation just because it wasn't sexual. But then after a couple months it did get sexual. Like, yeah, I think it had to be like 7-8 months we were, yeah, just hanging out. And then maybe like month 6 we made out for the first time. Like, he kissed me. I was like, oh damn. At first I was like, oh, we're friends. And then I was like, damn, you got some soft lips. But I didn't let it get sexual. Me and him actually never had sex. But I think that's because after Valentine's Day, I was like, something's got to change. So I officially stopped having sex on Valentine's Day, which was probably my biggest accomplishment. Anyhow, now we want to talk about the tough times. How did I get through going, like, having all this sex? And I mean, sometimes it was good, sometimes it wasn't, whatever. How did I go through all that to getting to a point where I'm making it to a year and I'm completely and totally okay with it?
Now, the thing about my celibacies,
My past celibacies is that I never made it to a year. And I always figured, you know, if I can just make it to a year, like, that right there, like, that means that I did it. Then as I approached this year, I realized that no, because there's still more to come. But I feel like I've gotten through the hard part. This whole year has just, I cut my hair, like, as soon as I stopped having sex. I don't know what the heck was wrong with me. I'm gonna insert a picture of when I first cut my hair. And you guys are gonna see, like, maybe a month after I had stopped having sex. I think it was March 22nd, and obviously I stopped having sex February 14th. So after that, I just cut off all my hair. I just kind of like went ghost on all guys and started really focusing on myself. And I mean, Zach wasn't the only horrible story and horrible lesson. I mean, there were others down the line, and honestly, I feel like I put myself in those situations because I wasn't understanding the importance of my body. Like, I'm sharing a piece of me that I can never get back, you know? After losing my virginity, I didn't realize, I always said, sex is just sex. Like, that's all it is. Like, screw a relationship, like all that. And then as I started to get older, I kind of wanted the relationship title. And then now I still feel like, you know, maybe sex isn't as deep as people make it seem, but I only feel that way if you're not really interested in the person that you're having sex with. It just, at that point, all it's doing is just draining you as it was draining me. And I don't know, ladies, if you've ever been in a predicament, or gentlemen, if you've ever felt like that before, like literally it's just draining, and literally you feel like you're giving a piece of yourself away to each person, then I'm gonna ask you to join me. Like, this is gonna be a new year, and honestly, I could really use the support of going through this next year. How do you get through the frustration? How do you get through the anger? How do you get past all the hurt? How do you start breaking down walls and really getting to know yourself? I can help you guys with that, because that's all I've been going through this whole year. Except I've been going through it alone. And I wouldn't wish that upon anyone, honestly. Getting to know yourself and letting go of a lot of things is pretty tough. I even stopped cursing. I've changed so much in just 1 year. And honestly, I think that it's probably the best decision I ever made. I know I kind of made it seem like it was a joke with, you know, Zach and fine ass dude. Let's just call him Zeus or Poseidon. I know I'm still kind of trying to make it funny, but that's because it is kind of funny. When you're at a point where you could just laugh at your mistakes and not feel embarrassed or shamed and not really care about the backlash and the, you know, just all of, like, right now me making this video is probably the most daring thing I've done. I mean, I'm talking about my sex life. How much more daring doesn't get? Please tell me. If you know, tell me. And if you say sex tape, I'm gonna punch in your nose. Anyway, I really hope you guys like this video, and I really hope that you guys join me along my journey. You guys should follow me on Snapchat at Danika_Perf, DANIKA_PERF. I do Dani's journeys pretty regularly. I kind of like fell off of it, but I'm more than willing to start back, and join me back on another episode of Sincerely Dani next week, Tuesday at, I'm gonna try for 6, because today it was supposed to be 6, but it's 7:04, so we just gonna try. Let me know what you think of the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I had fun talking to you guys.
You and your girlfriend, too bad mind. Bad when you both combine. I don't know why you look so nice. Girl, you're not nice, you're rude. Want me to feel like I'm new. Want me to watch you do you.
You guys just watched my first video, All Good Things Come to Those Who Wait. Why should sex be any different? Join me next week. Next week I'll be talking about literally how you get through the tough times. I'm gonna give you guys some tips, some tricks that I learned, and really help you guys understand just everything that there is to know about celibacy. It's not rocket science. It's hard. Okay, so maybe it is rocket science, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and join me next week where we will be talking about how to get through the toughest parts of celibacy, because there are some, honey. So I'll see you guys later. Mwah.